Hey everybody, welcome to Jet Live. This is going to happen at some times, and we're just going to have to deal with it. But Maayan Allen, who's joining us today, is running a little bit late. Just got to start on time because showbiz. uh, how's everybody doing today? I see no one's watching yet, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll get somebody soon. So I guess I'll just talk a little about what's on my mind before Maayan joins us. We're going back to schools, we're going back to shuls. People are starting to, apparently this past week, because of the weather change, we were told we didn't need masks outside. All of a sudden now it's cold again and we're wearing masks again. There's still a lot of confusion. There's a lot of really cool creativity going on today, this week, next week. Some really cool stuff like Idan Lipper, who I mentioned in Marty Weisel's interview, has been posting on Facebook about people auditioning for a new musical in English. Where it'll be performed and how it'll be performed, I don't know, but having those auditions is really cool. It means, things are happening. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is still having auditions in the park. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of creativity happening. A lot of people are writing. A lot of people are collaborating. I'm working on trying to get something up again. I've done 2 readings so far, and I'm hopefully going to be doing another one in the near future. Basically, we're just having a good time. We even fixed our jet over there. We put black border around it to make it a little less shiny. So now it's clearer to see. You could see the E very clearly. Some people thought it said JCT, like, I don't know, Jerusalem Community Theater, I guess. But it's JET, Jerusalem English Theater. SGN, by the way, ended its run so far with 8 videos. John Krasinski is taking a break. It's awesome. Really, really inspiring. Loved what he's done. We're inspired by him, and hopefully we'll see it again. But obviously things are changing. He even had in his last video, a father was reunited with his daughter who had cancer. He was visiting her from outside for all these weeks, and then finally he was able to go inside and actually give her a hug. So things are starting to change, get a little more less restrictive. I'm sure that's not all over the world. I'm sure there are places around the world where things are still very restrictive, and we still need to be careful. There's no vaccine yet, but hopefully we'll start seeing theater again and start seeing things happening again. And there's a lot of discussions about how that's going to be in the professional world and also in the rest of the theatrical world. Even doing Broadway, not in New York, but starting to do shows outside regionally and seeing stuff happening. I actually saw something really cool this past week. So The Blacklist, which is one of my favorite shows that I've watched since the beginning, pretty much. They had to stop production during COVID in the beginning. They were doing the last few episodes. I think they had 1 or 2 more episodes to shoot, and they were wearing gloves and they had masks on. And then when they did the scene, they would take off the gloves and they would go back having the gloves on. I don't know how they did it, where they went to do it, but they basically did a hybrid episode, where in the beginning you had the main actress sitting with her this older actor, the grandfather, and she's talking to him, and all of a sudden it's Zoom the actors are on Zoom telling us this is how it would have been. But since we got shut down during COVID, this is our season finale. And they had some live action scenes that they had shot already. And they also had a lot of animated scenes, which they advanced the plot. Not the best animation, but still it did advance the plot, and we understood where they were going with it. I personally didn't like where they went with it based on what I know about the whole entire series, but that has to do with the plot and where I thought things might go, and not necessarily about what they did. I thought what they did was brilliant. I thought what they did was really engaging with what we can do with technology and creativity and theater. And just wow. And at the end, what they did was they had different crew members join in this video and just zoom in and be part of the whole entire episode, because it takes a city, it takes a community to create. There are so many people that rely on these kinds of things in order to make a living. There are so many people that rely on these kinds of things in order to live. And it was just amazing what they did with it. Unfortunately, one of the actors, the grandfather, can't remember his name. Let me just check it up. He passed away this year, right before they were finishing up, I believe. Blacklist. And so they actually had him in a few of the shots, but he passed away already. So obviously we've seen that before. We've seen them with Princess Leia. They had Carrie Fisher CGI'd. So they didn't do that with him. I don't think, but they had different scenes that they did animated. And I think it would be really interesting for anybody to go see what they've done with it. The animation, again, wasn't that great, but it still advanced the plot and made you understand what they were going for. And that's what we're going to be seeing. And that's okay. That's okay. It's still creativity. It's still art. Famous actor. Brian Dennehy. He was in 9 episodes, played Dominic Wilkinson. So he passed away this year, not from COVID, from what I understand. But they wrote at the end of the episode, which they do a lot of times with these, because they're communities. They always have episodes where they honor the people that were important to everybody's important to the creation of these episodes, these series. They honor them, they memorialize them, they do that episode in their memory. And this was an episode that he was in. So I don't know. It was episode 19, and maybe they do usually 20 episodes, but they decided to make this one the end. And it was really powerful, even with animation the way it was. It was really powerful because this is still being confident. Being there's a really great word for it, and I can't remember what it is right now. This is being able to move forward with what we're dealing with and still saying we can create, we can do. And I feel like we can do that. Oh, here's Maayan. She's coming in right now, and we're gonna be having this conversation because this is what we're doing. We're continuing on with whatever we're dealing with. So here we go. Hey, Maayan. I've just been talking for a bunch. And here you are. I don't know. We can't hear you. Is your mic on? Is it set up? Let's see. I've been talking about The Blacklist. I don't know if you watched that, but they did an episode which was a hybrid. Can't hear you still. Technical difficulties. It happens. It's okay. Oh, hey, special guest. We love it. I mean, I talk about how Newsies, they had the actors were on stage for like, I think a half hour, an hour, and they were trying to figure out a technical thing. It happened when I saw First Date. The screen didn't go up. I thought it was part of the show. Like the actors were singing, and you could see their shadows, and they were doing all the movements, but it didn't work. Let's see if this works. Hey, yes, we do.
Okay, I had to take off my earphones.
Okay.
Because it wasn't working with my earphones for some reason.
All right, that's cool. We have technical difficulties all the time. That's okay.
Okay.
Gosh, but this is great. I'm so happy you're here. I was just talking about The Blacklist and just perseverance, how we persevere still throughout this time. It's an episode. I just saw an episode where they basically did half animation and half live because they weren't able to finish the episode officially.
Oh
and
I'm like having such a hard time hearing you for some reason. Oh my gosh.
Can you hear me now? Maybe I'll get closer to the microphone. Okay, I was further away from the microphone maybe. So welcome, Maayan, to Jet Live. I'm so glad that you could join us.
Oh
my God. We'll start right off the bat. So how are you doing with all the microphone and this and that and earphones and whatever? How's things?
I've been really good, thank God. I mean, like, you mean specifically in like the whole quarantine situation?
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to move a little bit away from that. I was also kind of talking about that before you joined us, but yeah, like the whole quarantine and everything. How have you been doing?
So I've been doing good. I was teaching at first like dance for the first month and a half via Zoom. And then after that, like things started looking up and things were opening again. So I think I'm waiting a little longer to reopen the chug I was teaching until like taking public transportation isn't like people feel completely comfortable taking public transportation. I think most of my students do that. But we also started rehearsals for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang with Israel musicals. I'm co-choreographer this time around, and it's my first time working with them. And it's been really good. We're not sure exactly when the show's gonna go up, but in the meantime, rehearsals have been really fun. So.
Yeah, that's part of it. Like just rehearsing is part of the community. We talked about that in a few of the Jet Live things where like the process is what really people are excited to be part of. So that's awesome that you guys are going up. You're going to the park and like just doing you're doing exercise basically from the dancing. Yeah. Has it been hard with this past week with the masks because of the heat or?
What?
With the masks because of the heat. Was that hard or?
Oh, because of the heat? It's been fine. I mean, I personally haven't had such an issue with it. We also rehearse closer to the evening, so it's a little cooler. But I mean, some people are hotter than others. But I've been fine. I think it's kind of fun to rehearse in the park. It was really funny. I was telling someone like I never thought that just going to a park and hanging out with people would be like so much fun. You know, like I don't know. Some people it's like something they do. I guess I just like go to a cafe when I hang out with my friends. I'm also like a one-on-one person, so just going to a park and like just being with people was so refreshing and like exactly what I felt like, you know, what everyone needed. Just to Yeah.
I know they do like jogging, or they do yoga in the park, or they do like in Central Park they have like yoga in the park, or they do Pilates or whatever it is. Are you going to start doing dance classes in the park?
No,
Okay.
not my jam. I mean, it was already like a step for me to teach dance from my living room, but actually, like, I actually ended up really enjoying it. I didn't know how it would turn out. I also felt like it would be kind of seem unprofessional. I was really nervous about it. And I think people just felt it. People like actually found it very heartwarming and very relatable during this whole time. We also just have like this nice fake Monet painting on the wall, so that added some. It's like a nature painting, so it gave like the illusion of we're outside. But I think that people just saw me. Also, I was like in my element in a way because like dancing in my living room. That's kind of what I've been doing since I was 3. So
Wow.
also everyone was in their own house, in their own like small
Yeah.
bedroom, and I had to make the dance kind of. I had to tailor the dance to very small spaces, and people were just happy to move. And I think that they kind of liked seeing that it was kind of more personal in a way. But park, not my jam. But teaching dance in a park, not my jam. But yeah, whatever. I think people who do it, it's great. It's really nice to be outside.
Yeah,
How
I
have
mean
you
that's
been?
that's that's as right now. Have I been? I've been great. Jet Live is awesome. I'm loving speaking with everybody and hearing what's going on with them. Learning so much about the community and different people. The conversations that happen, like Sharon Katz here, that they comment here. Here you go.
I love her. She's amazing.
So
Oh,
she
thank
she she wrote
you.
that.
Thanks, Sharon. I love you. I
Uh,
miss you guys.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, that's been really great. We get to spend a lot of time with my almost 1 year old. This coming Sunday, she's going to be 1. Leah Rose. So that's been really great, and working also, doing different things, learning new stuff as well. So yeah, it's been great. And I actually, so I did a reading with Yasmin Beverly Rana. I think we were probably one of the first people to do that, like in the beginning of all this when this started, like before Pesach even. And so I just discovered now we're still in contact, and she's into ballet. She's been doing it for like 5 years. So
Oh,
she just started out doing it in her living room or whatever it is. And she says she wrote like a musing about it, and it's really it's not easy. It's not easy to do that, but we're all learning to do things differently and still be able to create and dance and be a part. Oh, you got so much love over here. Aviela is posting, and Sharon, um,
I just have
super
to say,
talented, wonderful to
that
work
I was
with.
actually really nervous about doing this interview. I did not imagine that like, I'd sign on so late. It's kind of a nightmare in that sense coming true, but no, it's fine. But I'm saying like it was so nice to get that I saw Aviella, I saw J-Town Playhouse's interview Aviella and Jen and Eliza. And I'd come home like like a long day, a good day, but like a long day. And like I was like, oh, this is the perfect way to wind down. So I sat down and I was so enjoying the interview. And at the end, they were like being so complimentary and nice when you said I was coming on. And I was like, oh, how's that for a confidence boost? Like it was just so nice. Like I was like, that's like such a nice preview to coming on.
Awesome,
So
awesome.
thanks,
That,
guys. That
that's
was really, really
that's what
sweet.
it's
Thanks for
that's what
giving me a
it's
call.
about. That's what it's about. The community is there for each other. We're all there for each other, and
Yeah.
giving that confidence. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people. What I loved about, like I was talking about before, the blacklist. The at the end they had all the cast and crew. Like they had a bunch of crew just join on Zoom and be part of like the end of the final episode. Like, hey guys, thank you very much and whatnot. They don't have a season right now. They don't have a show to be working on, and it happens. Like you go from show to
Right.
show to show, and you have to like find work. But they've been doing this for like 9 years, and all of a sudden now it's like cut off. And like, but there's so much love and support. Um,
Yeah.
Someone else, Rachel Dean, who was on recently, she posted on Facebook about like getting help from Broadway friends to give classes to some kids that were supposed to come for like do a musical theater workshop in New York over the summer, and people like signed on really quickly. So I feel like the arts, like what we do and who we are, we're it's so nice to see that. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Like, thank you, and confidence boost for sure. So you've been dancing since you were 3.
No, I mean, I danced in my living room since I was 3. Um,
Okay. Just for
let me
funsies.
clarify. So I always loved dancing, and like my mom tried to put me in ballet when I was like, I don't know, 5 years old. I was not a studious kid. I think I actually, as dance teacher now, I like just want to apologize to my ballet teacher for when I was 5 years old for all the chaos I think I caused. But I actually started taking chugim on and off when I was in elementary school. And then I only started to get serious relatively late, like at age 14. I started taking ballet regularly at the community center. And then from there, I started taking jazz. And then when I was 17, I started teaching at the local studio, jazz. That was like something I always gravitated towards. And I took ballet since age 14 because I knew classical was important. It was never like my preference, but I appreciated like, the importance of it. But I was also just involved a ton in elementary school years, like beginning of high school, elementary, and theater. And I performed a lot in shows, like in the theater context, as a dancer, as an actress, everything. And then when I started to get more serious about dancing and teaching and stuff like that, I kind of took a break from that and I focused mostly on dance, which was great. Like, I feel like there was a time and place for everything. And then when I I choreographed a piece for Count the Stars, Hi Sharon Cat. And that kind of reminded me how much I miss theater. And then I did Your Good Man Charlie Brown. Shlomit actually connected me with Aviella. We met at Hebrew University in the academia, so I was there for a year. And she just said, "Oh, we're looking for a new choreographer for this upcoming show." And I didn't know anything about the theater community in Jerusalem, like nothing. I knew in Beit Shemesh because that's where I grew up. But she introduced me to Aviella, and that's how we met. And I did Your Good Man Charlie Brown, and that also just like, it's a very vicarious experience when you're like the choreographer and you're watching everybody also do your work, but also just perform on stage and do something that you know how fun it is. So it was wonderful. And then I just started getting back into theater with She Loves Me and a couple other smaller things. And then I did Wizard of Oz with Women in Theater. And just being back in the theater context is wonderful. And also teaching dance, but that was kind of missing for me. And yeah, so
Right.
yeah, and the thing is,
I,
in
re-
Shitty Shitty Bang, sorry, were you gonna say something? I feel like you're
I
saying
just
something.
I just wanted to say I remember the audition for Your Good Man Charlie Brown, and how much there was there to do, but also how much fun it was. And I'm not a dancer, but I was like probably like on my left foot half the time or whatever it was, but it was a fun piece to work with and audition with. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And they did it. They used it. You used it in the show as well. That whole piece.
Yeah,
They had a lot of fun with it.
that's great
So
that you had fun. I mean, it's crazy because what I get so often is how many actors like in the theater community coming to me and saying like, I don't dance. Like that's the first thing they say to me when I come to choreograph something for them. They say, I don't dance. I'm not a dancer. Like this like major disclaimer. And it's amazing like how wonderfully they end up performing. Like I kind of just stopped listening to that. Not like I can appreciate the nerves because I feel very nervous singing on stage because that's not like my go-to. But I can appreciate that. But I also just say to them like, I'm not gonna let you go on stage unprepared. And at the end, a lot of them just say like, I didn't realize that I can do that. And that's probably one of the most gratifying experiences is just someone being like, hey, I did a dance and I actually enjoyed it and I did it well. Um, and that's what I would want someone to do with me. So many come in and say like dance is a thing that everyone just has this like a lot of people in the theater community because they're amazing. Everyone's like such amazing singers and such amazing actors and like, but honestly, I feel like very often it's a package deal. Like very often someone will come and be like, I don't dance. And maybe they didn't have training, but they'll be super coordinated. or they usually have an amazing sense of rhythm or performance, and just pulling those strengths out is wonderful, because they're like, hey, you know, this isn't half bad. So yeah. So yeah, see, what I'm trying to tell you is you can dance.
But what I say is I'm a mover. So like I could move, I could do certain things. Just go easy on me.
I believe it.
Yeah, but I don't think I've done a musical since Cinderella, actually, which is like 2 or 3 years. I haven't done a musical for like 2 or 3 years already.
Oh.
I mean, I'm more of a play kind of person. I like plays. I like acting and drama and all that. So, yeah, but that's me. But
didn't you put one on?
A musical?
You put on a play.
I put on a play. Well, I did the readings on Zoom. I haven't actually, like, Dina and I founded CBDB Productions, but we actually haven't done anything physically in a theater space yet. We were working on bringing Song of Solomon here, which is a musical, but it doesn't have a lot of dancing, but there is a lot of dancing involved anyways. So we had Miguel Braganza here, and he gave a whole workshop. So yeah, I mean, you have to kind of like delve into all of it at some point. And here, most people are into musical theater. So even on Broadway, most people are into musical theater. If most of the investors, like 80% of the investors, are like, we want to see musical theater back on Broadway after all this is over. And like the 20%, they're like, yeah, plays, they're okay. Because what makes money? The musical theater.
Right. People are like attracted to the spectacle, you know? Musical theater is like a spectacle.
Yeah, but the dance has a lot to do with that. I think that we might even be seeing turning away. Like I talked about this with my friend Sam. We might be seeing less technology, but because we'll be seeing less technology, like all that spectacle with the technology, we might actually be starting to see more dance. Like how musicals used to be, where it was a lot of dancing, and then it's still there. There's a lot of movement, but like the tapping and the this and the that. I think maybe we'll be seeing a lot more of that coming back to make like the numbers. This is the tap number. They do that still. I think SpongeBob has like a tap number, no?
Yeah.
But maybe we'll be seeing more and more of that inside a musical to make it more spectacular.
Yeah. You know, like I have all these dreams of like, you know, having a production of Newsies. There's so many musicals.
Yes.
I recently saw this is funny. I went to see Legally Blonde in Hebrew. It was going around, right? I'm sure you heard of it. And I went to see it, and I had no idea it was a Broadway production. So I go and I hear these amazing songs, all Hebrew. I'm like, wow, Israel, you stepped it up, man. And I was like so in awe. And like, whatever, it was fantastic in its own right, because the translation was great, and that's very hard to do. And the
very
dance
much
was fabulous.
so.
It was fantastic in its own right. But I came home, and I'm telling everyone like this new original production, and they're like, yeah, Maayan, that's old news. So then I saw the original one, and I love the movie, and the musical was fabulous. So
well, the fact that they
did what the segue was into that.
The fact that they convinced you that it was an original means that they did a very good job.
You saw it too?
No, I'm just saying the fact that they did that, like, because most of the stuff here, I think one of the people that is trying to change that is Idan Lipper, who I mentioned a little bit before. I'm not sure if you were on still. I was talking about him. He called for auditions. I think the deadline is today for people to send in videos for an English production. But he's looking for more original stuff. But like a lot of the things that happen here are translations or were done outside and then come here. The big ones like Billy Elliot and Legally Blonde and Les Miserables and Hairspray, and West Side Story, and maybe one day we'll see like an original Israeli, not translated, awesome musical. I think there's a few of them, but I don't know how big they are. Like, what's the one? The Shaul HaMelech or
The one with what?
I think that's a musical. There's like Shaul HaMelech or something.
Oh yeah, I heard of that. I heard it was great. I heard of that.
Yeah. And we have so much history. We have so much, like the Jews, like Israel has so much to work with. So much to work with.
Yeah.
So you said Shlomit basically brought you into the theater, but what got you to Count the Stars?
Count the Stars, I went to the audition. I didn't plan on choreographing for that. I went to the audition. They already have a fabulous choreographer, Judy Kaiser, shout out. She's wonderful. And I went, and then they said they had, what was so nice, they had in the form, would you like to be involved in the production in any other context, basically? And I wrote, I'm actually a choreographer, and I would love to be involved in that. So they saw me dance, and they said, we want you to be a dancer. And then they said, we also want you to choreograph this more of like a modern lyrical number for the title number, I guess, because it was the Count the Stars song. So I ended up doing that, and it was, I just feel like these things are really a hashgacha, because it was like I hadn't auditioned for a musical in such a long time, and I remember being so nervous, like it was my first time ever. And there's something about childhood inhibition, you know what I mean? There's something about that childhood inhibition, and then you kind of lose it, and then you have to regain it. And I went to the audition, and I was so nervous, and we connected, and it was like kind of like a revival in that area. So that was wonderful. Yeah. And then Charlie Brown, it's crazy because I was at the Academia, and Shlomi and I weren't in the same department. I was in the dance department. She was in the singing department. And I think we like met in the hallway, and we're kind of chatting here and there. We became friendly, just like randomly in the cafeteria. It's like all the departments together. So that's, I guess, where we met. And then she came up to me and she's like, I have a friend. She runs this production company called J-Town Playhouse, and they're looking for a choreographer, and I think you'd be like a good fit. She said something like that. I guess she had like this kind of interesting intuition or something, and I was like, cool, I'm down, Yeah, she's amazing. So
she's great, and the Academy is a great resource. There's a lot of amazing people there. I know throughout the years, different people have come from the Academy and been part of the community for sometimes for just one production, and sometimes they stick with it. But I was there recently, and I was just looking out, like seeing who's here. And Shlomi was introduced. Chaya Weintraub. So she was also like introducing me to a bunch of different people. But it's a great place, and I wish that we can have more of a connection with the Academy, because there's so much talent, and it would be great to have that. Like you were born here, right? But where's your family originally from? Where?
Sorry?
Your family's originally from where?
My parents are from California, and they met in Israel, and they decided to stay. But all my siblings and we were born and raised in Israel. And I sound like this, I'm not sure why. Probably because I grew up in Ramat Beit Shemesh, surrounded by Olim, and I was very stubborn about reading Hebrew. My parents would like bribe me to read Hebrew, and I would read tons of English. It's funny because I always said I'm American with an Israeli personality, but no, not American. Sorry, I think it's the other way around. I don't know what I said, but I felt like I felt like connected to both. But now I'm realizing how little I know about Israeli culture, and like someone would say like a band's name, and I'd be like, I have no idea who that is, and they would look at me like I had betrayed the Israeli, the Israeli nation because I'm Israeli. So I realized we were exposed to movie music, we were exposed to musicals growing up, movies mostly. Sorry, my WhatsApp.
Like Carousel and South
watching,
Pacific.
Singing in the Rain, and only American stuff. We were exposed to only American stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy with. I don't mind, you know.
Me
But
too. I grew up with all of those. But basically, what I'm saying is like I mean, okay, so your parents are from California, but and you don't know much about Israeli side, but still, like you have like the the ability, and Natan Skop and I have talked about this a bunch as well. Shout out to him. He's been amazing with helping with Jet and stuff. Um, we talk about how do we like interconnect. Like our community is amazing, and I really believe that what we do, the theater community, and there's so much out there. English speakers as well, but also Israelis that like Starcatcher does a great job of like pulling in all these like Hebrew speaking Israelis that come in and are amazing. And become part of that community and to just grow that and how we do that and whatnot. And I think the academy is a great place. I think that everyone does it in their own way. Like each theater community within the theater community that we have. Toby Greenwald says hi as well.
hi.
So, and Jen Fleischer, you can see, if it's possible, you can see the comments. I think you're able to.
No,
unless
I
you're on your
can't.
phone. Oh, okay.
That's
So
okay though.
it's okay. You can see them later. But I guess it depends. Are you on
Yeah,
a phone or a computer?
I'm on my phone. We had
Yeah.
a little bit of a
Okay.
technical difficulty. My computer apparently doesn't support, what's this called? Whatever
StreamYard.
this is. Yard stream?
Yeah.
StreamYard?
Yeah.
StreamYard.
StreamYard.
So my computer doesn't support this, and we tried my husband's computer, doesn't have a camera. So then I ended up on my phone, and I'm trying to make it not move.
Oh wow.
But yeah.
Okay. I'm still figuring all this technical stuff out. Apparently, it works really well with Chrome, and so sometimes Safari, and that's basically it. So if you have a Mac or whatever it is, it's not necessarily you have to like have Chrome. It's like the websites that you need not the websites, whatever they're called. You need to have those. And then, but if you have the computer, I think you're able to see the comments like that are being like sent to us. So
okay, I'll see them after.
I thought that's yeah, but you'll see them after. I mean, it's half the reason why we do this, you know. For the communication to and Shlomit, usually she's on, but she had something at 2 today, so I knew she wouldn't be here. But but she's usually like asking so many great questions that I actually have asked her. I almost asked her to interview you today, but then she wasn't available. But she might join on Jet Live at some point as the interviewer, because she's been asking such amazing questions that I can't even think of half the time. But it's so that's so cool. So Ramat Beit Shemesh, what that's like, how do I say this without people slapping me in the face later? It's very it's like Orthodox there. So and you came to I mean I have cousins that live there and they're awesome. And my brother lived there for a bit. I know other people lived there, but you and Marnie Shamroth also, she lived there. So how did you how were you able to I mean, I guess your parents are California. Did they grew up in that kind of way? My question really is like, you were able to come and dance and do this, and have you performed? I know some people who won't perform, like Count the Stars, like women's theater. They don't perform in front of men, but you're coming and you're choreographing for the shows which do perform in front of men. Like, so would you perform in front of men, or are you like, how do you balance all that kind of thinking?
It's a very legitimate question. Some of it I'm still figuring out. I do have a Rav, and it was very important for me personally to have one for guidance and for things I wasn't sure of. It kind of, sometimes when you have like a straight answer, it can, you just have peace of mind. when you feel like you're doing the right thing for yourself. But growing up, I grew up like Haredi actually, and I only performed in front of women and with women. Um, we were very lucky. When I was growing up, there wasn't that much in Ramape Jamesh, but there was one company, Regal Productions, Zir Hamed. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they are really big in the Haredi community.
They
And
still,
religious
they do,
community, and they travel,
they're the
they
ones
go to
that,
Europe and America, and I
do they do the
basically
show in the Jerusalem Theater?
what?
They're the ones
Jerusalem
that
Theater.
do in the Jerusalem Theater. Yeah, I was doing a production in the smaller theater, the micro theater, at the same time that there was a production of one of theirs, and you could hear. I saw all these Haredi women coming out of the theater, like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's probably the only time of year that they enter the theater. That's probably the
Yeah.
only time.
So you were involved with them,
Yeah,
okay?
so I performed there for several years, and performed in England with them, and it was some of the best memories of my life. I feel so blessed to have had that in my life, because we had like we were drawn to it from a very young age. Me and my couple of my sisters particularly were very drawn to this stuff, and I just felt like it was such an outlet, and so yeah, that's where I grew up, and the quality of production is so high, very, very high quality, amazing costumes. They brought in also, like, they would bring in, if they wanted like they wanted gymnastics theme, or they wanted like a lot of gymnasts, they would like literally bring in like gymnast teams of girls, or they would basically advertise what they wanted. Like this past show that they did, they had girls on roller skates. And so what they did in the audition process was they wrote like on the form they were sending out, you have to know how to roller skate. And like I think that they have the privilege to do that because they have so many people that want to be in it. So they're able to request what they want, certain skills. But then it's very diverse. They've had tap dancing. I've been a tap dancer in their show. They've had gymnasts in their show. They've had, people who are very, very skilled on roller skates, like just all kinds of different things. And
Wow.
yeah, so that was amazing. And then later on in life, I was figuring out what worked for me. I started taking classes. I wanted to really grow my skill set as a dancer and develop, and I felt like there was still a bit of a lacking in Ramat Beit Shemesh. So I started taking classes in Tel Aviv and in the Merkaz, and I did a Wingate course for teaching in a mixed environment. These were all like mixed environments, and I started doing that, and I was just figuring it out. And then choreographing for stuff like this and teaching it was never an issue, because it's kind of like a teacher for anything, or even like a doctor. When it comes to mixed situations, it's not really an issue.
Right.
Performing in front of men, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang will probably be, I've done it before, like in a dance context. First time I'm doing a musical. I'm not singing alone at all.
Right.
If I sang alone, I don't know if I would feel comfortable like that. I feel like at this point in my life, it's each thing as it comes. But right now I'm dancing, and I feel okay with that. And yeah, like, I guess it's just a journey. And it's funny because I felt very torn, because I felt like, well, I'm doing this, but I'm not doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm not doing this. But I feel fulfilled, and I feel like I'm doing what I'm happy doing. And if that's the stage I'm at right now, I've really learned to accept that. And I also know that the people who really support me and the people who really matter to me in my life, they're very supportive of me. My parents are wonderful, and my family, we're all very close, and we're all so different. And my mom comes to, like, she'll come to any show I'm in. Doesn't matter if I'm performing in front of men or not. And my parents are Haredi, but she'll come to any show that I perform in. And that's so important. So
That's awesome.
So yeah.
That's
that's a very good question, a very legitimate question.
I was just trying to figure out how to phrase it. But
no, it's great.
What's interesting what you're saying is I feel like that's kind of what the theatrical community now is dealing with, in a way, with how to deal with COVID. Is what do we do, and how do we, and what are we going to be comfortable with, and what are different people going to be comfortable with, and who's going to be comfortable with me going and doing this and that. So it's, your answer is fascinating. I know there's tons of people out there that are dealing with the same type of issue. There's tons. a few people in our community that I've already interviewed, I know have had this kind of thought process of like, what am I able to do? I even thought that when I was in New York and studying there, like where my boundaries were and all that kind of stuff. So it's such an interesting thing, and it's really good to share those things, because without sharing it, there are people that just go black and white, like this is how it is, and really there's so much to share about that. I'm gonna leave this as the last question. Aviela asked this, and then we're gonna start signing off.
What production have you enjoyed the most and why? Well, performing in, I guess I'm going to take this as a choreography question.
Let's get up here.
What production have you enjoyed the most? I guess, I don't know, the viewer? Aviela, I don't understand.
Anything.
Interpret it for me.
What have you enjoyed the most? If being on stage, choreographing anything, just name a production that you thought was like the most enjoyable.
She Loves Me was one of my favorites, 100%. Fabulous cast. The whole energy was just fantastic. And then as a performer, probably like one of the shows that I did as a kid. I was in Annie. I was a little orphan Kate. And best time ever. I was that girl who was like, you're never fully dressed without a smile. I was the one who was on the table and went, they both got their style or whatever. Like, you see me on the video, I'm like so into it. Like, best time ever. So yeah, that's my answer. She Loves Me was probably one of my favorites to like choreograph, and as a kid, that was probably my favorite production to perform in. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have a why for both, or will you explain the cast and the energy?
Why?
And whatnot?
I mean, She Loves Me, I guess, just the energy. I also knew a lot of them coming in. I felt like very friendly with a lot of them coming in. The energy was wonderful. Everyone was so willing to learn from me, so respectful. So much talent. Oh my gosh, there was so much to work with. Like I loved figuring out like this person can do this and this person can do this and how can we incorporate that. That's always very exciting for me. When I casually learn that this person who like can do this really cool skill that I didn't know about. And then so that's why I love She Loves Me so much, and I enjoy every single production that I'm a part of.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's great to have more to work with. It's so much fun and creative when you have less to work with, because then you have to like, figure out all the different things of what you can do. And that can be really, really, really creative and fun. And COVID, that's what we're doing now. We're trying to figure out what we can work with. But at least that's my opinion. But it's so awesome when you have more to work with. Like if you could have like $1 million for a production like that would also be really tough and creative and really fun and amazing, but you know that you have that much to work with. So having an awesome amount of awesome talent, and a lot of it is really great, I'm sure. So we're gonna start signing off. Maayan, this was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit beforehand. Usually I have the guest come in right away with me, and I practiced my singular when I practiced my singular self talking.
Yes. My pleasure.
Thank you. And I just want to say that really this is for the community, and I'm so glad that you're part of our community. It's amazing that you're out there in the park, and it's not something apparently that you're so into, but you're doing it for Chichi Bing Bing. And we have the Next to Normal reunion, which happened in J-Town Playhouse tonight at 8 p.m. It's going to be interesting how we do that, because we can only have 6 people in the stream, and then we're going to like be putting people down in the green room, which is on the bottom here, and people in the stream, and we'll see who's going to talk when and ask the questions. We'll figure it out as we go. And then tomorrow, hopefully, we're having a big surprise. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Tuesday, we've got who do we've got? We've got Marion Metzinger. I'm confusing the days. I forget who's coming when, because there's so many awesome people. Oh, Aviella. Aviella is joining us on Tuesday for a moment with her. That's on Tuesday, and then Mary Metzinger is on Wednesday. There we go. Cool. And next week we've got Yael Silver and Brian Friedland, and then the sky's the limit. So Maayan, thank you again so much for joining Jet Live. It was amazing, and we'll say bye to everyone for now, and I'll see you again at 8 o'clock tonight.
All right, thanks.